Hello everyone, this is Colin here on the ASCA League channel, and here we are again for the Pennzoil Pro Series. This time we go to the short track at Martinsville. The paperclip track has been known for some pretty intense racing as well as a lot of accidents. We're going to have to see what happens here today. But here's your point standings after 3 races. WILLIS is still on top, Dion Scott in 3rd, and Daniel Voiles back in 5th. Here's down to 28th right now. And remember, the cutoff line is 20th down, so you don't want to be in 21st or below come chase time, but obviously we're far from here. Anyways, we're going to get our starting lineup here. Nick Pericles grabs the pole, winner of last year, and WILLIS on the outside. Row 2, Derek Petrie and Cody Russell, Big Motorsports teammates. In Row 3, Zach Komoski and CESAR Chavez, a pair of Toyotas, starting in Row 3. Row 4, Joseph Strigley and Kyle Singer, Big Motorsports, all their cars inside the top 8. Row 5 has Zach Cars and Stuart Grant, an impressive start out of the rookie. Row 6, Ryan Kendall, also an impressive start, and Arsha Sain, the Canadian. Row 7, Brock McMahon and Nikita RYZKHOV, 2 more surprise starters, a lot of back markers starting in the front. Row 8, Kyle Collins and Matthew Brown in the 21 car. Row 9 has Ruby Easton and Michael Jones, 2 Dodges starting back in Row 9. Row 10, Brian Lenning and Sam Rogers in the MALEY Motorsports entry. Row 11 is Jay Barker, winner of Race 2, and Cole Baker on his outside. Row 12 has Jay Durrell starting pretty far back, and Aaron Lukes on his outside. Row 13, Jose Vequez, last year's Rookie of the Year, and Jack Newman supporting the pink paint scheme this week. Row 14, Blaine Keys and Jesse Dalton back in the car. Row 15, Ryan Dunn and Eric Willis. Eric being your points leader, starting way back in the pack. Row 16, John Gilbert and Brian Boone, last week's winner. Row 17, Daniel Voiles, Daytona winner, and Nicholas Smudio on his outside. Row 18, Addison Steinbeck and Allison Davidson. Row 19, Mackenzie Rustin and Daniel Maxwell, DW Motorsports car. Row 20 has William Brock, the single car team, and John Cittadino making the start for Global Autosports. And the final row, Dion Scott and Jeremy Jones bringing up the rear. Here are the people that did not qualify. Specifically, I'd like to look at Tanya Breyer and Tyler Selspin. Big surprises right there. Also a heartbreak for Rick Witt. Anyways, green flag is in the air as the field rockets down towards turn 1. Now down towards turn 3, you see just how big of a jump that Nick Pericles got on the rest of the field as the Big Motorsports teammates continue to fight in the back. And we already have a caution on the track. And already we're seeing a caution, and this one happens in turn 3, so the cars get woed up. And it looks like Nick Pericles, but Webster Zygert will take the second spot. Nick Pericles still up front. It looks like Jay Barker's going to get a little aggressive on the first start and turn Cole Baker. Baker was inside the top 20 at that point, and it's all going to go away right away at the beginning. And I'm not sure what that was with Jack Newman getting in the back of his teammate there. Anyways, early pit stops for a lot of drivers. Nick Pericles and Webster Zygert, you see the top 2 stalls. Only gas and go for a lot of the drivers though. Green flag is back on the track, and this time Pericles isn't able to get away as well. And Webster Zygert and Derek Petrie are going to pull to the back bumper. And Nick Pericles has been noted to be very good here. He finished 2nd here in Season 1, 1st here in Season 2, and now he is leading again. So definitely this seems to be a strong track. And Webster Zygert, see back there in the 2nd position. He hasn't run too bad here as well. Derek Petrie is a little questionable, but so far these 3 drivers having a great run today. See Zach Komoski and Cody Russell back there in 5th. But also I'd like to make note of CESAR Chavez back here. You know, CESAR, he's driving for Double T Motorsports, that is typically now a middle-class team. But last year was very hard for him as he was kicked off a team of Philippines Racing Development, and Double T Motorsports took him in place of Callum Wood. We also saw Joseph Strigley back there in the 1 car, both of them running really well. However, Daniel Voiles is seen in pit road. The car's overheating, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with the car. However, they're going multiple laps down and sitting on pit road. And we got a battle for 3rd place as Webster Zygert got moved out of the groove by his teammate, and now Zach Komoski is down underneath him. You see CESAR Chavez trying to get underneath Cody Russell, And that's Stuart Gratton in the back, in the Moog Ford this week. Usually Blaine Keys is the one that pilots that car, but today Moog is on board Stuart in the 6 car. Yeah, that's Kyle Singer back there in the 11, so Big Motorsports still having up front runnings right now. Definitely a strong team out front here today. But how about strong running? Eric Willis on the top of the points chart. We saw it was Dion Scott and then Eric Willis. Definitely a surprising top of the board early on this season. Obviously, we're only 3 races in at this point, but Eric Willis being on top, I'm sure he didn't expect that, but definitely has been doing good. Here's Dion Scott that fell to 3rd. The Telcel Toyota. He's a rookie and he was leading the points, but this 51 has a knack for leading the points in the Rookie of the Year, and obviously there's a point chart for Rookie of the Year, but currently he is leading that. That has not gone away, and obviously Dion Scott with a huge lead so far this season. Looking back, we see some National Racing teammates. In fact, 3 are here. Jay Barker and Jack Newman we already talked about, but there's Aaron Lukes in the 5 car, the Jimmy John Chevy. Seems like he's made some contact with the outside wall somewhere though before. Anyways, we're looking off the front of Derek Petrie's Heineken Chevy, and you see he hasn't lost too much ground, but Nick Pericles is slowly getting the gap wider and wider between the two. Pericles definitely showing a lot of strength here 20 laps in, and currently consistently running some of the quickest laps on the track, which that really doesn't mean anything because he's the only one in clean air at the moment. We see Kyle Singer back here in the Camping World Chevy. He is bringing up the rear for the Big Motorsports cars, and he's just hoping for a good season. We've been talking about this already, but this 11 team, we were surprised that Big Motorsports picked him up because of how bad he ran last season at Bad Dad Racing, which was not a bad team, but currently Kyle Singer has been qualifying well, but he's been struck by bad luck being wrecked out a few times. And oh, there we go, a caution is out as Dion Scott got turned around. And I don't think we need to see again what happened there. Just a spin around by Nicholas Samudio. And just like that, we're going to be back under green flag conditions. And Mackenzie Rusty, you see on the inside there, is going to battle back. Dion Scott went a lap down in the process, as well as some other drivers. And I believe those were some drivers actually trying to make pit stops under green flag conditions. You see Jay Durrell in the pack there. That is horrible news for him. And wow, so I guess that kind of went under the radar there. You see Mackenzie Rustin actually battling back, getting by the 00 car, so Mackenzie seems to have a good car. He did qualify in the back though, so didn't have a good qualifying run, but being able to outweigh the 00 car, even though he is on the inside line, that's pretty impressive. Back in the field lane, you see Brian Boone, last week's winner, Ryan Dunn. He actually won here in Season 1. And Jack Newman here. It said Jack Newman obviously supporting the Susan J. Komen Foundation, the Cure for Cancer car, and he always runs this scheme every single season, and it's again back on the car this year. It's almost a tribute now to a Season 1 scheme where it was just the red stripe on the side, but other than that, it is to support cancer awareness and the foundation of Susan J. Komen. You see Brian Boone back up here again. The Widow Axe Dodge. Widow Axe has become a pretty big sponsor on that 70 car. We got a caution in the back, another one. I believe we got Ryan Kendall involved in this one. No, that's Kendall in the back there. And we're gonna go check and see exactly what happened when we get a replay. And here we go. Focusing on Ryan Dunn, and he gets in the back of Kendall. Kendall saves it, and Ryan Dunn, trying to save it, gets spun around by Sam Rogers in the 73 car. So a caution does fly for Ryan Dunn, as you saw Daniel Maxwell actually back there as well. That's a big break for him. And we see some people going down pit road. You see Derek Petrie a little bit slow, and there was a problem on the 53 car. They held him for an extensive amount of time as we go back green flag racing, no longer in the front. Instead, he started at the tail end of the field, and that is definitely problematic for the 53 car. Webster Zygarde also had a bad pit stop, Big Motorsports has actually gone from bad to worse, where they actually went from great to worse, as the 11 car is now the highest running Big Motorsports car back in around 6th. See, CESAR Chavez has made his way up to 3rd. NIKITA RYZKHOV is back in 4th there, so a lot of surprises at the front. But we see Jay Durrell, a surprise in itself. he's in the back right now, so still not being able to clear some of the front runners to get up to the front. Ooh, and almost a spin off the corner there. That's Addison Steinbeck and Ryan Dunn. Dunn obviously eager to get to the front again. We're seeing Addison's teammate up there, Eric Willis. I don't think he's going to have a good points day if he runs where he does now. Saw Cole Baker there after the lap 1 incident. He hasn't really worked his way back up yet. Stuart Gratton, though, in the 6 car, just solidly inside the top 10. This is exactly what this team needs. Stuart really hasn't had the best of debuts. He missed Daytona due to his own accord, and he didn't qualify for Atlanta, And, well, Gratton made his first start last week, but he wrecked out. So, really, if he can get a top 10 here, this will definitely boost his confidence, as the first 3 races have gone pretty much as bad as they could for Gratton. However, talk about a good run. This is Brock McMahon. Now, you can't really see it because the scoring monitor only goes up to 3, but McMahon is actually placed in 4th place, so great job by the Lane Chevy right now as this 08 car. He's been having some struggles, but we thought he was going to be at least a decent running car this year, and currently he's showing it here at the short track. The Lane Chevy running up front, trying to contend for the win. However, he's just a little bit slower than the front 3. However, we are halfway through the race, and we are going to see your mid-race report down on the right side. You know what to do. The 00 car is still out front. However, there are some notables. The 04 has had some engine problems and has dropped out, and Daniel Voyle still has not repaired that, not fixed that car, and he's still sitting in pit road. You see him up there. Kind of curious of why they're still trying to repair that. He's fixed 56 laps down. I'm not sure why they'll just retire him out of the race right now instead of wasting all his time, or at least probably try to get him back in the garage. But they're still trying to figure out what's wrong with that car and hopefully get him out there and get past John in the 04 at least. But Nick Pericles, just 3 laps after halfway, has run into some lap traffic, that being the 93 and the 56, and that's the 88 on the inside, his competitor. And Zach Kaminsky, in the Peak Antifreeze Toyota is now driving to the inside. Everyone but CESAR Chavez there is a lap car, so it's the battle between the 88 and the 00. Jay Durrell, ooh, that was very close. John Cittadino shoved his nose down there. See Nicholas Samudio, and I can't tell who that last car, that's Daniel Maxwell. All these cars are off the pace, off the lead lap. You see they are just becoming a huge hazard as Zach Kaminsky is through, and he is going to get a good jump on these 2 drivers. We are a little over halfway, so there's definitely some time for Nick Pericles to maybe try and catch him up again. But currently this is a huge heartbreak for Pericles as he's led the first half of the race and he's going to lose it to lap traffic. Here comes CESAR Chavez in the 03 now on the inside. And Brock McMahon in the 08. The entire field is caught up to these front 3 now. Or at least now the front 2, actually, because you see Zach Kaminsky up front there in the 88 car, who currently leads the race. And you see Kyle Singer still holding on to a 5th place run. I mean, you gotta give this team credit, this team needs it. In fact, he's actually made up to 4th. Brock McMahon has fallen back way deep in the field. You see Stuart Gratton is actually in 5th now, so amazing job by Gratton to get himself up inside the top 5. Zach Card's kind of a quiet run, but that puts SFR 2 cars in the tie to the top 6, so good job for them to get their cars up there. See Joseph Strigley, Nikita RYZKHOV, and Matthew Brown rounding out the top 10. Quite an interesting top 10, I must say, but it's what these short tracks bring. Diversity for all teams, really. And we see Nicholas Samudio parked in pit lane. They might be experiencing the same problems as Daniel Voiles because they are not getting out there either. You see Daniel Voiles still sits in pit lane. Zach Kaminsky in the SFR entry still leading though in this field. You see Daniel Maxwell is the only person though that's in between him and the oncoming CESAR Chavez. Nick Pericles still trying to deal with the lap traffic behind. And now it might become a 2-car battle for the front. CESAR Chavez gets past Daniel Maxwell, and now he's got to run down Zach Kaminsky. And Kaminsky hitting his marks, but CESAR Chavez is hitting him better. And you see coming off, we are down to less than, I believe, 20 laps now. 105 out of 125. So yeah, it's 20 laps. Cesar Chavez is right there. He has plenty of time to make the move. Chavez came into this race a little bit down in points, but I'm sure with the win, he could definitely get his strength up. Zach Noski is in the points, however, right now, but a win could propel him possibly inside the top 5. And we see Michael Jones getting in the way, and Cesar Chavez, will he make a move? He dives it down into turn 1. And Chavez now on the inside. 14 to go as Chavez will make the turn off. For a driver that didn't even qualify for the Copyright Amateur Series race, you would think that he wouldn't even be able to, contend for the win, but he's doing it amazingly. Cody Russell, the next lap car in front, he was running inside the top 5 earlier in the race, but like I said, Big Motorsports' race has just gone up in smoke, really. Not physically in smoke this time, but just problem after problem for all of their drivers, pretty much except for Kyle Singer. See Singer back there in 4th, but Nick Pericles, how about him? 10 laps to go and he's running 3rd. He does not look like he'll go back-to-back at Martinsville, but definitely another good run. He came in here outside the top 30 in points, so getting 3rd will definitely boost him inside maybe the top 25 maybe. So here we go to the final lap now. Cesar Chavez, no one behind him. He has gotten by Cody Russell to put him a lap down, but the lap cars in front of him are not going to be a factor. He just needs to hit his marks for 2 more corners. Chavez did not qualify for the Copyright Amateur Series race. Everyone counted him out, but today he showed he could run well at Martinsville. Checkered flag for the Double T Motorsports entry, and this will also be Double T Motorsports' first win. And we see coming back to the line, Nick Pericles gets by the 88 for 2nd. Wow, and a last lap pass for 2nd place, and I didn't even see that coming. Awesome finish as Cesar Chavez does his burnouts, and well, Nick Pericles will have to settle for 2nd. Here is your finishing results. You see Kyle Singer in 4th, and Stuart Gratton will finish 5th. Arguably an amazing run for Stuart Gratton there. Eric Willis back there in 14, he actually pulls off something, so he might still be the points leader after this race. Down through the field, Jack Newman, he always seems to have a subpar car here at Martinsville despite running the special paint scheme. Looking through the back half, you see radiator issues. After the race, it was determined for both Nicholas Smitty and Daniel Boyle, so that's what ended their race. And definitely an interesting problem there for those cars. You see the point standings here. Eric Willis on top with 149 points, and all the way down to 45 points behind with Aaron Lukes in 14th. As we look at the back here, down to 20th place, that is your drivers currently in the chase. However, like I said, a lot of time to make that up. So Tyler Seltzman and Kyerson Scott didn't make the race, so they dropped a lot in points. Anyways, that's all for now, and we'll see you next race at Loudon, New Hampshire.